It's the second week of September and I'm looking at some oilseed rape today. I know that a lot of oilseed rape this year has been established quite early, some of it in late July, to try and get the crop established ahead of any potential attacks from cabbage stem flea beetle. And those crops are looking well at this point in time. Cabbage stem flea beetle numbers so far have been relatively low, which is encouraging. And I also believe that in certain parts of the country, oilseed rape is still being sown. And with that such wide establishment windows, we've got crops at various growth stages. And we know that establishing oilseed rape does benefit when applications of nitrogen and phosphorus are made into the seedbed. And in many cases that can come from organic manures that are available to the farm. Or actually NP fertilisers in solid or liquid forms are applied at sowing. In these later sown crops, if that opportunity hasn't been there to get some organic manure on or to apply a nitrogen phosphorus fertiliser, my recommendation would be not to delay getting something on, particularly now that we're into September. We need to encourage those later sown crops to establish as quickly and as well as we can. And my experience is delaying getting that nitrogen on can not prove as beneficial as getting it on in as quick as time as you can. If, for example, you haven't got access to any phosphate fertiliser at sowing, there is always that option to apply some foliar phosphate to the crop. We've seen the benefit of foliar phosphate in improving root length, and our recommendation in that case, if you haven't been able to get any phosphate into the seedbed, is to apply a product like MAGPHOS K at 3 to 5 litres to the hectare, with perhaps a graminicide application when you're taking out volunteer cereals in the oilseed rape. Once you know the crop's established, the application of some foliar phosphate will prove beneficial. We also know that getting the crop in good order before winter sets in is essential, and therefore the application of some other foliar nutrition through the coming weeks will also help keep that crop going through the winter months. Our go-to product is Brassitrel Pro. It's a product that's now well proven in oilseed rape, applied at 3 litres to the hectare from the 4 true leaf stage. So a lot of these early crops are already at that stage, but I appreciate later sown crops have got some way to go before they get to that. Brassitrel Pro contains all those key nutrients that oilseed rape requires to carry it through the winter. It contains molybdenum, boron, magnesium, manganese, nitrogen, and also some calcium. And we know that certain nutrients are particularly mobile in the soil, boron being one of them. And we know from tissue analysis and soil analysis that we've had in the lab this year, due to all the persistent heavy rain that we've had in the last 10 months, that boron has been effectively flushed through the soil profile and potentially could be in low availability for these oilseed rape crops. So that would be our recommendation, is to apply 3 litres of Brassitrel Pro this autumn to your oilseed rape. It will set it up well, and that we've found when we follow that application up with Brassitrel Pro again in the spring, a second application of 3 litres to the hectare, that we've had on average over 5 years worth of trials a 0.3 of a tonne to the hectare yield increase from both applications. And if you put that into the current sort of financial calculation with current forward prices for oilseed rape, that would give you a 3.8 to 1 return on the investment you've made in the Brassitrel Pro. It's a very readily tank mixable product, Brassitrel Pro. It can go in with herbicides, fungicides, and potentially as late as your curb applications if you're making those later on this autumn. But by all means do check the Tankmix website if you've got any particular mixes you want to look at. Or if you can't find any on there that you're looking at in particular, you can always request us to do a particular tank mix. So Brassitrel Pro, it's well proven, it's easy to use, very tank mixable and safe to the operator and the crop. And we know it gives you that long-lasting feeding effect with all those key nutrients that Oilseed Rape requires going into the winter.